Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube live. We are live on, we're live on all of them. I just wanted to make sure. And welcome to another SATURDAY night. Do you remember that?
Close. Oh yeah, I had that album. Yeah, Bay City Rollers. Yeah.
Back in the day. Let's say hello to everybody and we'll get into it and then we'll tell everybody who you are. And welcome, Giovanna, and welcome, Cami Rose Russell. Hello, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Gail, hello. Shelly, hello. Michelle, hello. Hey, Darren, good to see you. Thanks for being here. And guys, if you're new, come on in and say you're new. And if you've never seen Danette before, she's not a stranger to my live. Tell me that you are new to Danette. Hello, Mom. And there's Delora. And we got something to announce about Delora in a little bit. Giovanna says, hey, good to see you tonight. Good to see you. And if you're new to me, let me know how you're new to me. Let me know if you saw me on the TikTok or we popped into your feed. It's great. So every Saturday night, guys, through the end of this month, we will be doing guest lives. Now, because April will start and y'all got places to go, we're going to switch from, now that we're going to do something different. We're going to switch from Saturday night to, I believe it's going to be Tuesday nights. I'll let you know. So it might be Monday nights. I'm not sure. It's going to be a night that we're normally not on because y'all got stuff to do during the weekend and we want you to be here. So there you have it. Ellen Jane, hello. Thank you for being here. I'm Joe on TikTok, new to seeing Danette. Excellent. And Adventures of Lynn, thank you for being here. So just to give you guys a little background, Danette and I met back in 2019. That seems weird, doesn't it?
I know.
It seems really weird. And I have to tell you, Danette's energy was amazing. She was in the speaker program, and then we met in person in Sedona at Celebrate Your Life retreat, and it was just, I don't know. It's the kind of person that you meet and you just want to be like, I want to be your friend. I want to be your friend. And I just have to tell you, Danette's compassion and passion for people and for all that she does. Now you have two companies, right? You have your financial company and you have your, I want to call it your feel-good company.
Yeah. You could say heart-based business.
Heart-based business, yes.
Yeah. I've been a financial planner for 26 years now. And I'm surprised they let me get my license when I was 4, but that's neither here nor there.
I know. You must have been so smart.
And over the years, I really struggled deeply with panic attacks and anxiety. And that's what led me to learn about meditation. And I went down that rabbit hole of one thing leads to another. And I'm learning light language and all these things. I got involved with Celebrate Your Life. And I slowly but surely, the panic attacks eased and went away. So I decided that I want to teach how I did that. And that's what Shine First comes from. So True North Wealth Management is my full-time career, my job. It's my passion, helping people with their finances and giving people the confidence to be able to retire or just even make a financial decision. We typically are looking at, what do you want to accomplish in the next 3 to 5 years? Mm-hmm. And then in the evenings and weekends, and when I can sneak a work day in, I work on Shine First. And I decided that I'm going to finish writing the book this year. I started writing the book a couple of years ago, but it's going to get done. The manuscript's going to be done by the end of April. So for Shine First. So that's really, I will have my second book in my second year. So
I love it. Anna, Timokanis Pasisa. I have one of my Greek friends on. Anna, good to see you. And Anna, you guys, we have a story about Anna. She's going to be on my podcast. So Anna,
Nice.
so excited. And Moosey or Mousy, which is it? I'm going to say both. Hello, thank you for being here. And you have a brand new book. A brand new book. Ta-da! Start retirement plan. It is awesome. It is. I have to tell you guys, this book. I don't know about all of you, but how many of you procrastinate with finances? And this is
Even me.
It's such a great book. It is. You can go from different places here. You can, if you want to learn about what do I do and what stumps me from doing it. I mean, she has guiding tips that are great in here. You talk about all the interesting stuff about sharing finances and how do you avoid common pitfalls and flexibility in your daily life and daily spending. There's so many great things in here, and you've got some really good. I marked a couple of these so I wouldn't forget. The one that I like is financial foresight. And that is really good because you have like a 3 month, a 1 month, 2 weeks, 1 week countdown. And it's really good. And I like, I mean, you start off with 6 months, but for me, I like to make it, I like to make it 3 months because I'm like, I need it now. And that's really, really great. Hello, Dina and Mandy and Beverly and Danielle. Good to see you. And it's great, right? So Giovanna's like, yes, 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 right? This book, guys, is so helpful. It is really, really helpful. Can you tell people how did this come all about?
Well, for years and years, I wanted to write a book about financial planning. And every single time I sat down to try to write about the mechanics of an IRA or a Roth conversion, something technical like that, number one, I got bored instantaneously. And I thought, if I'm bored writing, you, the reader, are going to be bored reading. And so, a little less than 2 years ago, I started the Ready to Retire podcast, and where I start to share tips. And having never done a podcast before, you'll have to forgive the first few episodes are 30, 45 minutes. It's really a masterclass in the beginning. They're a lot shorter now. I go through it a lot quicker. I think they're a lot more entertaining now. It's also on YouTube in case you get a chance to pick it up. And so I started doing the podcast and doing the episodes. I mean, I was writing like 8,000 words for a 20-minute episode. Wow. So like they were chapters. And as I did that, after a couple of months, I was like, wow. And then I became intentional about, I want to write a chapter about this. So I want to write an episode. And that was the basis. And when I sat down to actually put the book together, I probably had about 40,000 words written. And the book itself is about 50,000 words. So, and I wanted to take and say, this book is really about designing your life now. So you don't necessarily have to start planning your retirement today, but I want you to plan your life today. And the subtitle is Craft a Portfolio of Passions to Enrich Your Life Today and Beyond. And so each chapter is a possible different area that you can explore. And I just barely scratched the surface, but every single chapter. And my mom is so sweet. My mom has read the book. And she called me up one night and she goes, oh my God, that chapter on sustainable living and eco living was so interesting. And it's really cute because my mom's 77. So, wow. I've had people in their 20s read it and say it's amazing. I've had people in their late 70s say, I didn't think of that before. I'm going to add this in. And so, and every age bracket that's read it has found something interesting, which just warms my heart.
I love it. And if you guys are looking, here is the YouTube channel, just in case.
Yeah.
So YouTube
Ready to retire.
to retire. So just so y'all have it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's Apple Podcast. I put the audio on podcast and the video. I film myself and the video's on.
I like it. I like it a lot. Danielle says, totally admire the dedication to write a book. And I have to tell you, it's hard to write a book like this because usually the ones that you read are okay. Yeah, and you're done. It's like you're done. But
I that's what happened before I started the podcast.
I mean, this is
We have lots of call outs, a lot of exercises and call outs and quick tips. And then we also have the earlystartretirement.com website. And we took all the resources that we mentioned in the book and we linked them to a website. And so the very first thing you can do is, if you want to be on my mailing list, my email list, is download the retirement readiness quiz. And it's really quick. It's 15 questions about things. Have you considered these things? And then the solution at the end is why these 15 things are important, like why it's important to start thinking about them. And so you can kind of see, yeah, I've thought about these 5 things, but I never even heard of these 5 things. And so I really like how the quiz came out.
I love, and quizzes are great, everybody.
Elias, tell me about your quiz.
A little bit more on that later. Hello, Gigi, and hello, Gabriela. Gabriela, Timucanis, pues dice, so great to have 2 Greek people on Instagram. Yay. Whoop, whoop, power to the Greeks. Okay, so who would you say, well, I know everybody. I just answered my own question, but who's this book for? Everybody. But if you take somebody who is not great with finances and really kind of like, I really will be like a turtle going into a shell when someone talks about finances. It is, I can do it. It just takes me a lot to get hyper focused about it.
Yeah.
And I know that's horrible, but I think we all have, we're talking, the subject, you guys, today is renewing your finances. So I think we have all this issue around money and saving and finances, and we have to like flip that. We have to shift that mindset, correct?
I think so. I think that we have a lot of beliefs from either growing up or our parents. I was going to share a quick story with you tonight. When I was a young lady, I was working at a bank. Prior to being a financial advisor, I worked at a bank, and I got a raise. And this is in the 80s, so keep in mind, don't be too impressed. But I got a raise to $30,000 a year. And I told my grandpa, who I really admired, and he thought I was an investment banker, whole nother story. And I told him I got this raise to $30,000, and he said, no one is worth $30,000 a year. And it just deflated me to no end. Like, no one, oh my gosh, it just killed me in my heart. And about 2 years later, I was driving him. My cousin graduated at college, and I was driving my grandpa to go see the graduation because he couldn't drive himself. And we were in the car, and he was telling me a story about when he was a young man, he got a job at delivering milk, and he got paid $1.25 a day, not an hour, a day. And he came home and told his father how much he was getting paid. And my grandpa's telling me the story, and his father said to him, no one is worth $1.25 a day. And I told him, I said, you told me that no one was, I told him the story, reminded him about when he told me that. And he couldn't believe it. He goes, did I really do that? Oh man, I wish I didn't, and it's like, what are these programmings from our parents and even our friends or our siblings? And we do this like comparison constantly.
Right.
A lot of times people come in and ask for financial planning and they want to take out, let's say, 5,000 a month in retirement. And one of the main questions they ask, is that normal? What are other people doing? Right? It doesn't matter. So that's what the book comes from, is how do you want to spend your time? Like, what is your hobby? And I've seen people who cannot get by on, no lie, 30,000 a month. And I've had people, next door neighbors, who 3,000 a month was more than sufficient. I
Mm.
mean, it's how we spend our money and how we spend our time that are the most important factors. It's really not how much money we make. Because if we know how we're going to spend our time, then we know how much we have to save. And then it's just a formula. So this is to get us, but most people don't. Most people are working and our identities are tied up in work. I mean, just starting like Shine First for me has been terribly hard. It's like, what are my conservative financial planning clients going to think about me talking about spirituality on the side? It's been a challenge.
And that is how other people see us. I think that is our generation, yours and mine.
Yeah.
That's what our parents. Now, obviously, my parents were older, I think, than your mom and dad, because obviously there's like,
I mean, you and I are the same age.
roughly.
Yeah,
You're young, you're younger.
no, like maybe a year.
You're a lot younger. You started your career at 4. You're a
Oh,
lot
I'm 29. That's right.
younger.
This year I celebrate the 30th anniversary of my 29th birthday.
Me? Right. And I just celebrated, I don't mind, I'm just gonna say it. I celebrated 60 in December. So there you have it. Hey Sue, thanks for being here. And Danielle says, books are hard for me being an auditory learner. Is it an audiobook?
Funny you ask. I just signed a contract yesterday with a producer, and I'm going to start doing the audiobook recording this week.
I love
So hopefully in the next 3 months, it'll be, I don't know how long it takes to do. I haven't done one yet.
it. Yeah.
But I have the gear for podcasting, so I'm going to try.
Gigi says she's been 21 for 30 years. I like it. I like it. Your 21st anniversary of or your 30th anniversary of being 21. I like it. That's good. So I think that the generation has taught us stuff. Like I know that as much as I love them, as much as they loved me, the lesson was always you never show your dirty laundry.
Oh, yeah.
You don't talk about it. You don't talk about finances. You're always doing much better than anybody else. My mom used to say this, even if you are pitching pennies, she said, your address is the most important thing ever. So she said, she went from southeast side of Chicago, which was a big house. It was like close to 12-ish rooms. And then we went to a 8-room house, then to a 2-bedroom condo.
Wow.
But she made sure that condo was on a really good street. And the address is the most, I mean, these are things that they're telling me. She always used to say, you can take a great vacation or you can take a good vacation for, let's go back to the 80s, a good vacation for $500. You can take an amazing vacation if you just spend a little bit more.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, great. Mandy says, changing the mindset on money is truly challenging. A lot of the times we don't even realize how we manifest money challenges into our lives from deep-seated beliefs that were taught to us growing up. Totally
100% true.
agree. Totally agree.
100% true.
It's always about, is it good enough? Is it, what are other people going to think? That's so much embedded in me that I had to really, it pops up all the time.
Yeah.
So we're talking about renewing your finances. What's 1 or 2 good tips that you would tell somebody about how do you get started? How do you start?
it the first thing to get started, the first place to get started is take a look at your belief system, and if you're feeling any guilt around your finances, that would be the first thing that I would implore you to explore letting go. We can feel guilt around, I should be farther ahead.
Mm.
My son and daughter in law who live with us, um, we were having this conversation today, and my granddaughter says, my mom and dad made poor financial decisions, and she's very smart for her age. And I said, no, they didn't. I said, they chose to have you when they were 19 and 20 years old, and they took a different path. So they're in their 30s and they think they should be doing different, but they moved in with us. She's going to school. She's getting her degree, and she graduates in May. My son's getting a promotion. He's going to double his salary in July, and they're living with us until that point, and they're going to be on their way. They just did life a little bit different in the order than what you would consider traditional, and who cares? And so if you're feeling guilty about, like, I don't make enough, or I didn't do this right, or I haven't saved enough, or I should be saving more. Most people they constantly think they should be saving more and don't even realize that they've saved plenty because they don't know how they're going to spend their time. So that would be number two, is how to get started is read the book. And in it, it's like, how do you want to spend your time? So I decided, like, I was drawing in a journal. So I took a meditation class and I was drawing in a journal. I had this beautiful, beautiful meditation. And I wanted to commemorate this in my journal. And I drew this thing that it was not even stick people. It was ridiculous. I was trying to draw this whole big scene. And I said, there's got to be something I can do. And so I took a class at the community college that didn't cost very much. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And now, like, people like my girlfriends want to contract me to do art to put in their houses. And it started off with just me wanting to not be able to draw more than a stick figure, right? And it's turned into this true passion. And it really doesn't cost, like, art really doesn't cost very much. Like, especially I do watercolor. I mean, watercolor lasts forever.
You have beautiful work. I've seen your work.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. I was going to say, I don't think I have anything in here. Well, I do, but it's on the other wall. So.
Hello, Kelly and Maggie. Thank you both for being here on Instagram. So Danielle says, I'm horrible with my finances, but somehow taught my kids well, and they are much better with theirs. That's excellent. Now,
yeah, Danielle, why do you think you're horrible?
Yeah, Danielle, tell us why.
I mean, if you feel comfortable sharing, like.
This is another good one on page 129. Avoiding common pitfalls and challenges. Maintaining, I can't even talk tonight. Maintaining. Look at me. Maintaining. You're maintaining financial security. And we're reintegration into the workforce, which is really important. Maintaining relationships and social ties, managing health and well-being, dealing with uncertainty and expectations, avoiding over or under planning. And I think that one really, like, is a ding, 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 ding for me.
Yeah.
Is over or under planning. That's a hard one. That's challenging, I should say. It's challenging.
Yeah.
And that's why it's challenging, because I don't track anything and I just wing it.
And I just went, okay, so you're not horrible, you're normal. So most people, like 42% of people don't do anything for retirement. They come to retire, they say, I think I'm ready, and they quit. They don't even put an Excel spreadsheet together or a piece of paper. So you are normal. Most people are just going with the flow. And so if you wanted to get started, and you say, okay, maybe you don't want to work forever. Like maybe you don't want to work until the last day. So that might be a goal. Maybe you do want to work. Like I don't necessarily want to retire. Like I want work to be optional
Right.
at a
Yeah.
certain point. And actually, I'm blessed. Work is optional at this point. And but I only want to work as long as I'm having fun. So pick what your goals are. Start by picking your goals. You know, I want to spend more time doing this, and the money is like money is not what's important in our lives. Our lives are what is important in our lives. Our work is not what's important in our lives. Our lives are our family, our friends, our relationships. When I met Elias, we became dear friends day one, instantaneously.
Yeah.
And if I was head down, just working, not exploring anything else, like he and I never would have met, wouldn't have had all these great conversations. And it doesn't cost anything for us to text each other or give a quick call and take 5 minutes. Like the really greatest things in life truly are free. And so
It's true. Time is the best gift you can give anybody, truly.
yeah.
So Danielle said, first time I've been called normal. And
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't want to judge.
So what if I'm going to go live on a cruise ship?
Oh, lovely. Who's your financial advisor?
Well, clearly you will be now, so you can do that, right? Right? Danielle says, I love to work, but do too many things and spread myself thin.
Oh,
That's an
yeah. I'm recovering. Yeah, I'm in that club. I was just looking at my calendar from last week a little while ago, and I was like, oh my gosh. I got a lot done last week, but I was like, oh my gosh.
We do it to ourselves. We
Oh
completely.
yeah.
But you know what? Your job, my job, I love it. I
Yep.
love it. I love doing it. I want to say that as we both grow, it'd be great to have somebody else do all the minutia that we. I like to use the word minutia when I can. The minutia of the blah 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 that I don't enjoy as much, and just show up. But it's great. Dolores says my hobby is buying craft supplies I'll never use.
Yeah, I have gone through and done some clearing lately, thanks to Dougal Fraser in a class I took of his. And I know Delora and Elias know Dougal. And Delora, I found a bin in my closet. So I was going to make matching flannel shirts for my husband and my two sons when they were 4, 7, and however old my husband was at the time. And I have the bin with the buttons, the flannel, the patterns in all three sizes. And, you know, my sons are 31 and 34. It's not going to happen. My grandson is 1. I mean, it's just, I was like, Danette, you got to let go of this project. You're not going to ever make this flannel thing. So we got to wash the flannel, donate it, make a quilt out of it, donate it to the unhoused.
Right. The quilt is always good.
Get it out of the house. But yeah.
Danielle says I need to narrow my focus. I do have a 401k, but I have to pick my retirement job. I get it. She says so relatable. So relatable. So there's an idea that I have, and I'll talk to you about it. Because I'm just gonna say now, what would be great, Danette? It'd be very interesting to do a workshop on finances. Like I think that would be really great. And guys, if you don't know, Danette and I were about to do a retreat, and she was housing it at her home. We're going to do a really interesting retreat. That interesting retreat may possibly happen later this year, and we'll tell you about that as well. So here's the thing. We want to hear from you guys. We've been chatting for a bit. What questions? You have a financial planner here. What questions do you guys have about finances? I'm going to look both. When I look over here, guys, that's where my phone is for Instagram, and here you are, Facebook and
Yeah.
YouTube. So let me know, guys, what questions do you have? Hey, Kathleen, so good to see you, my
And if
friend.
you have a question, I guarantee 10 other people have the same question. So be brave and let's do some rapid fire. We can get a lot of things sorted in the time that we have left together.
Yeah, it's and finances are difficult to talk about, guys.
Yeah.
So don't worry. You can say a friend of mine
Yeah.
has
Asking
an
for
issue with this and that, right? You can
yeah,
just, ask the question. Um, Living in Social Security help or living on Social Security.
living on Social Security.
Mhm.
So so if you've already started taking Social Security, then you probably don't have a lot of extra options there. So once you've already started collecting, so you might, if your income that's coming in is fixed, you can look at, is your home available for Airbnb or something like that? Can you generate income from your home that way? People are also doing that with their cars. If your car is new enough, there's Airbnb style thing. It's called Turo for your cars. So there's a little bit of way to add income. You can deliver for Amazon and do a route, and that can bring in a little bit of extra money if you're comfortable. And then if you don't have any sources of extra income, then you have to look at spending. And so if you want to explore going to Scotland, but the budget doesn't allow, then what I suggest in the book is go on YouTube, take a week and totally immerse yourself in YouTube videos in Scotland, totally immerse yourself in cooking. What do they cook over there and replicate the recipes and talk to your social network and who has been to Scotland, ask them to tell you stories and plan some time dedicated to just that. And those things don't cost any, this it doesn't have to cost anything. So if you're Social Security, it's tough once you've already started taking it. Because and a lot of people, like most people, turn 62 and turn on Social Security, and you really want to wait till full retirement age. And we just talked about this in the last episode of Ready to Retire, which I think is coming out. I have to look myself.
Oh, she'll be back on. Don't worry. She'll be back on. She just clicked a button and I've done that. See, it's not just me, everybody, that clicks buttons. I just want you to know. Everybody's like, uh-oh, Elias pushed the button. Well, see, Danette pushed the button and now she's like, oh no, what did I just do? But I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. If you want to immerse yourself in Scotland or wherever, what a great idea to do all these YouTube things and just go ahead and figure that out. I mean, you can get a language online. You can learn. Uh, I just say, personally, I would just say, what's the show? What's the show that Outlander? Just watch Outlander. And Outlander, you could be in Scotland 1, 2, 3, right? Just 1, 2, 3. I'm so glad it's just not me that presses
I don't
button.
know what I did.
See? Everybody's like, uh-oh, Elias, don't touch a button. I'm like, I'm so glad Jeanette did it because I'm like, all right, great. You were looking up your YouTube schedule.
I think, and I must have turned off the StreamYard.
Yes, it did.
So yeah, smart retiring, smart budgeting for retirees. So retire. So if you haven't started taking Social Security yet, then most people start at 62, and when you're eligible. But now that our generation is getting a little bit older, meaning Elias and I, our full retirement age is 67. Elias, you might be 66 in 10 months, but close
Yeah.
to 67. So to get the maximum benefit, you want to wait till full retirement age. And
Carson says there's a bunch of utility services can offer you ways to save if on Social Security. Then
yeah,
saving a small amount of cash for the long-term travel goals.
yeah, yeah. And then you want to wait till full retirement age if you haven't started taking it, just because you have flexibility and options. And if you have started taking it, then look at other ways to bring in passive income. And then if there's nothing else available, then you have to look at your spending. And there's lots of ways to spend time doing things that are fun that are also low cost. Even my mom's cell phone, she got one of those Mint or something similar. I think her cell phone bill is like 15 a month. I can
Wow.
FaceTime her. She's got, an old iPhone. I FaceTime her. I'm like, why am I paying as much as I'm paying?
Right.
And I talk to her as often as I want to talk to her, and the signal's fine and all that. So,
And my husband, what he does is the moment he gets the bill, he pays it off. It's like done. It's like whatever it is, he tries not to have any interest build on anything. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
yeah.
And it's like he just doesn't like it over. Um, he purchased his car, and not the current one. He purchased his old car, and he paid that car off within 2 years. It's just crazy. Mint Mobile is $15. Okay. Danielle says, I would love to focus on metaphysical services for retirement, but I'm afraid of the important things I don't know about. Interesting.
I think that if you're talking about like the imposter syndrome, that is something I can really identify with. A lot of people can identify with that. We are our brain. What I'm trying to teach in the Shine First is our brain doesn't want us to do anything different. Our brain is sole function, I think, is to just keep us alive. So it wants us to do whatever we did yesterday. So it's afraid to do something different because it is afraid that if you do something different, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And so it puts a lot of pressure on. And this imposter syndrome is one that I come up against, I deal with all the time. Like, who am I to talk about anything metaphysical? And I was listening to Seth Godin. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a marketing guru, really well known. And he said, I look forward to having the imposter syndrome. He said, if you've been working at your job for 50 years and you know it back and forwards, left and right, I guarantee you're not feeling imposter syndrome because you already know everything you know, but you're also not learning. He said, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, if you're feeling afraid of something you don't know, it's because you're about to learn something new. And somebody else, I promise you, wants to know what you're thinking about teaching. Because if you just turn on the news for 5 minutes, you will see there's millions of people in this country that need to get onto this path. And any way that you can influence anyone. Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
and just do it like my Shine First is not financially making any money yet. But it has its own podcast, Shine First Today. And I slacked off a little bit, but I've been doing an episode every other week, and I have a newsletter list, and I do it mainly because I enjoy it.
and I think that's great. I think you should do stuff that makes you happy.
Yeah.
You have to do stuff that makes you happy. And if you don't, then what are we doing? We're on the hamster wheel, and it's rinse and repeat every day. And that's not what we want to do.
Yeah.
What we want to do. I'm going to post this.
I have
Yes.
let's see. I had three tips written down.
Yes.
I'll tell them real quick. Number one was it's how much we spend, not how much we make.
Hmm.
So over the years, in all cases, it comes down to how much we spend, not how much we make. So I've seen, like I've said, I've seen people on really low incomes doing just fine. And I think that number two here, and my number two tip is gratitude.
Mhm.
So, gratitude for what you do have, gratitude for what you are doing right, gratitude for just getting through a day in this crazy world that we live in, and patting yourself on the back, do the high five that Mel Robbins talks about. Um, and then the other tip is just being aware of sabotaging, either self sabotage or friends, like that keeping up with the Joneses, that can have a lot of sabotage to it. So those are some of the things I thought about when you think about renewing your finances. I think it's like renewing your beliefs about your finances.
So true. And if you guys want to see shinefirsttoday.com, the podcast is right there.
Yeah.
Um, hey, Irma. Good to see you. Irma says learning new tasks can be unnerving, but also very rewarding. Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Very,
Really good for you.
yeah. And Irma has been a nurse for over 40 years. And she retired and, did some other stuff that she wanted to do and enjoyed. And, she just enjoys life, which is really important. I have
That's
to tell
great.
everybody, and many of you know the story, but when I got divorced and I was living in Illinois in Sterling, and it was COVID, and I was a massage therapist and doing the woo woo work as well. Most of the money came from the massage therapy and a little bit, just a tiny little bit from life coaching because I wasn't pushing life coaching as much. Um, I always laugh at people. I'm like, yeah, most of the love coaching came on like the clients that were on the table. They started talking, and I would just, get into it. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not charging for this? Right?
Yeah.
Um, I had $5 in my wallet once. That was it. $5. I made sure the dogs ate. I made sure that we had dog food for them. We were in the middle of COVID, and a friend of mine said, you should get a job at Starbucks. And I don't know how I did it, but I started the little workshops here and there. I started doing guided meditation during COVID every day online. We were doing it, and people were coming on because they were in the same boat. I started getting a couple life coaching clients, and one day I got 5 clients in one day. The day that I was going to turn in my application to work at Starbucks, I got 5 clients, and that lasted me for a little bit. And I'm telling you, I don't know how all the bills were paid, everything was done. It was just truly a miracle of how
Yeah.
that 1 year divorce and having enough money to leave Illinois and move up here and do that. Now, let me tell you guys, many of you know I did go when I moved up here, it was challenging and I had a couple of health issues and I had to go on the EBT card for a year. And I used to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to even mention it. But,
Yeah.
that happened and it was something that needed to happen. And, um, you know, I'm grateful for all those things. Grateful for all those things. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Does
I,
anybody else have a question? Go ahead. You were going to say something.
no, I just said hi, Chris.
Oh, hi, Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a
Yeah.
question?
It is nothing to be ashamed of, but like you said earlier, your mom gave you those beliefs that no matter how things are, like it's important how you look to other people. And so we're afraid to say, oh, if it, it's one, another tip is to try to pay down credit cards and not to have credit cards if you can help it. But there have been times in our lives where we've had to have credit card debt, and that's just the way it is. And there's been times in our lives where, we were living paycheck to paycheck, and that's how it is. And it's part of your journey, and It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be ashamed about. And we don't talk about these things, and like talking about finances is so taboo because everyone wants to have that perception of everything's perfect all the time. It's a catch-22. So
It is. I remember calling up my cousin crying and saying, I'm so embarrassed that I'm going to have to do this. And she said, are you kidding? She's
yeah,
like, what are you doing? She's like, you need it. You had all these bills from your health stuff. She's like, you need to do it. It's okay. So,
it's what it's for,
right.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're going to, we talked about it off air. You've got a little giveaway, and we've got a couple people on Instagram. We got a couple people, obviously, several people on Facebook and YouTube. So what kind of giveaway do you want to give away?
So I would be willing to spend 1 hour with any one of your listeners who feels like they really need to get a redirect or need some advice on some financial. Maybe they have some situation, maybe they inherited some money, maybe they're at a crossroads with having to change jobs or possibly a physical move. And they just need like someone to go, if you saw that old show, Am I Diversified? Like, am I on track? I would be willing to sit down and spend an hour with any one of your listeners who really, really would like some guidance.
That's wonderful. And if you're on Instagram, just say I'm on Instagram. So just tell us if you're still here, because I never know how many people on here. It shows a bunch of people, but then I don't know who it is. So let me know, and that would be amazing. And if you're on here and you need some assistance, let me know. Rebecca says, wow, this is perfect timing. My husband just lost his job, having a hard time finding a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, that type of transition is really tough. What we recommend, and if he's already lost the job, it's probably too late to start this, but I try to recommend people say have an adventure fund, not an emergency fund, an adventure fund. It's very similar in that you want to have, if you're both working, you want to have about 3 months of your monthly nut, your monthly minimum to get by. You want to put that in a savings account that you can access. If there's two people working, you need about 3 months of that. If only one person works, you need about 6. If you're if it's already happened and you don't have the savings, then contact the utilities, contact your landlord, see where you can pull. Try not to use credit cards to get through. There was a story that happened. The husband lost the job, and the wife had a certain lifestyle, and he was still going, and he was in Mexico, and he tried to use a credit card, and I'm like, why are you going to Mexico when you don't have a job? But that's not the point. He found out his credit card was maxed out, and he found out that there were $79,000 in credit card debt because when he lost his job, the wife didn't change any of her lifestyle. So if your husband's lost his job and it's a struggle to get back in, then the first thing you might have to do is dial back on the lifestyle. Make some tough choices, go down to one car, do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. And try not to use credit card debt.
Delora wants to know how to winning lotto numbers.
Yes. You're going to have to do that, like ask your angels and try to dream it through. I've heard people have a lot of success with that. No one I know, but
Rebecca says, thank you. Mandy said, I just gave away pretty much everything I owned and started the RV life, and it feels awesome. So much
That's
peace.
awesome.
I love that.
We're getting another RV next week. And honestly, our life has been kind of a madhouse lately. Told my husband, I said, I'm selling both these houses and I'm going to just live in the RV. I'm going to put everything in storage.
Michelle said, I'd be interested, not sure how much to put in 401k as a company only matches, I think 1%. Wow.
Yeah, so if your company is matching, that's a great point. A lot of people don't even take advantage of that. So if you have a 401k and your company matches, whatever the minimum is, even if it's only 1%, that's unusually low. And I'd ask you to look into that a little bit more. If it's a simple IRA, I could see that, but generally it's 3% is the minimum that they will match. And because it's for testing rules and things like that, they have to do some kind of match. But it's basically free money as long as you stay with the company long enough to be vested. And but you are allowed to do like 20,000 out of your own pay, and it used to be 15%, but that went away a long time ago. But people sometimes think in their mind that they're limited to 15%, but it's not. It's the dollar amount. There are only 15 employees. So that's nice that they're doing something if it's a small company, but you can still contribute as much as you are allowed by law. And if you're 50, it's a little bit more. And if you're under 50, it's a little bit less, but it's around 25,000.
There are only 15 employees, very small, she says.
Yeah. So that's sweet that they're doing 1% because that's probably all they can do.
Check your messages. You got a message in the chat. Okay.
Okay.
That chat. So as we're looking at this, sorry, Victor was leaving for to go study at Panera. Okay. Lou Sunshine. Hello, Lou Sunshine. And Laura Duksta. Did I say your name right? Laura Duksta, author. Hello. Thank you for being here. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do let's do this. How about okay. Oops, hang on. Have a great night. I will check out your book for sure. Thanks, Mandy.
Thank you, Mandy.
For being here. Okay, and I forgot this person, but here's a thought. So Danette's going to be so kind, and Delora, you're moving, and I know you're moving, so you're going to need some assistance. So you can go ahead and check in with Danette and contact her. And let's see. I'm trying to look at who else. Oh my God, really? Okay, you're crazy. Crazy good. Here's how good Danette is. She's gonna give Michelle, Danielle, and Delora, all three of you, come and talk to Danette for an hour to help with the finances. That's beautiful of you. Thank you.
Elias, I have if you go to, did I lose you?
No, I'm right here.
Okay. If you go to, let's see, my Calendly site, you can book in an initial consultation, and it's 45 minutes. If you go to truenorthwealth.com, and you can go and book an initial consultation. And that's a 45-minute appointment. And so all three of you, please go in and book that. It'll automatically come into my calendar, and I will get you in 45 minutes. We'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Tell me where they go again. True North.
Yeah, TrueNorth wealth.com.
Sure did.
No E in the true.
No E in the true.
Yeah, just
No E.
TRUNORTHWEALTH.com.
Okay. So go to this website, guys, truenorthwealth.com. Michelle, Delora, Danette.
And you can get there from the early start retirement.com. You can get there also.
Wow, one said an error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again.
Oh my gosh.
Because maybe
email me, Danette at truenorthwealth.com.
Okay. Yeah, this says an error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again, meaning I couldn't put in your website in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. So a couple other things to mention, everybody. Speaking of Delora is doing this great class, you guys. She's doing a great class. It is Spring Forward in Color, the Budding Possibilities Palette. It starts Sunday. So Delora did a class with Dougal Fraser, and it is color coaching, and she's a color inspirationalist. Besides, also, Delora doesn't like to toot her horn as much as I like to toot her horn. It is she is a Akashic record reader as well, guys. So here's a really cool class. She's going to talk about white, green, orange, yellow, and we're also going to have Patty Cobo on and do a watercolor, which is beautiful. So I'm super excited about this class. Also, I made an error on the calendar. There's Danette. Next week, we've got Diane Ray from mindbodyspirit.fm. I'm super excited about having Diane on and talk about renewing self-awareness. We've got our Stephanie Serby, animal communicator. She's going to be on March 15th. And then on March 22nd, David is a astronumerologist. So he takes astrology and numerology, meshes them together. So we're going to talk about that. I've got a quiz coming up, guys. It's not out yet, but I've got a quiz because I wanted to follow in Danette's footsteps about quizzes. So I've got a quiz coming out. Super excited that will be out in a couple days, I'm hoping. And there are a couple spots left for the retreat. There are a couple of spots left for the retreat coming up at the end of March. So please come join us. We'd love to have you there. Everything is
I did the retreat last year and it was life-changing. It was so great. And the Gamania Lodge, it just blows your mind. It is one of the most beautiful properties on the planet. All the bigwigs from Silicon Valley head up there to get their getaway. But we had such a great time last year. It was really epic.
I know who was there when we got married.
Who?
Fabio.
Oh, fun.
Fabio had the penthouse. And yes. Fabio still has the same hair length.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for being on here. And guys, please go to Danette's website, which is right there, listed right there, earlystartretirement.com. She is an amazing financial planner. The book is fantastic. The Early Start Retirement Plan. Get it. It's great. I mean, the font is a great size. You don't have to worry about like going like this.
I told my book designer, I said, look, we need reading glasses. You can't make it so small.
Danielle's been to 2 retreats and they're amazing. Thank you so much. So
very sure. Yeah. Please book in initial consultation. Anyone that heard this, just do it. I'm happy to spend an hour. I volunteer my time every year and I'm happy to do it.
And she's good at what she does, you guys. So thank you so much for being here. Remember, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. From our hearts to yours. Be well, everybody. And we'll talk soon. See you soon.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow night, guided meditation, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Take care, everybody. Be well.